Hey everyone, this is Dr. Palacios, and I want to talk briefly about a realization that I had, and I hope that it'll help you understand a little bit more about your tendencies and compulsions or triggers. So, how do we become more objective to such thing as triggers? And this obviously happens when I was going through deeper layers of meditation, reflecting on my own compulsions, my own triggers, my own tics, per se, and even my own reactions to the body. Now, we have learned that we have many stimuli in our systems. We have people outside of us, we have the weather influencing us, we have our minds influencing us, and then we have our bodies that influence us. Now, at the end of the day, we can say that even though those influence us, we end up making the final decision. This awareness, this state of conscientiousness allows us to make that final decision. So it's easy to deconstruct and to tell when you have the weather affecting you. Like, for example, it's a hot day and you're feeling irritable from that. So yes, you can tell, okay, I don't feel like myself today because it's hot and I can't speak well. Or you have people influencing you positively or negatively, and then you are absorbing some of that and putting it into your life and seeing how that affects you. And you can say, yes, this person told me that, and that's how I've been reacting this way. And the moment you react, the moment you realize that, you start noticing, okay, I can detach, I can be objective, and I can act accordingly to what is being said or not. But then the last one is the internal stimuli. What is our mind saying? And of course, our minds tell us things all the time. It tells us so many different scenarios, fantasies, imagination, and then preparation to events, to meetings, you call it. But of course, at the end of the day, when it happens, when the time comes, we have to react accordingly. We have to be in the moment and react in the moment. And it may go according to the mind, or it may not go whatsoever. And usually it does not go according to the mind. So preparation can only go so far. And you can tell that, yes, my mind tells me this, but I can also detach myself from that action or become separate from that action. And finally, we have the body, our feelings, our instinct, which tells us and guides us on how to survive and how to fit in with society, with people, with animals, and our environment, our world around us. When you have a feeling, it grows very strong, and when you allow it to take over you, you become identified with the feeling. But then later you notice, as days pass, you are able to be more centered, be more logical and more rational, to the point that the feeling goes away. But then there is a misconception that I think is not true, and this is what we call like gut feeling. Now, the gut is a system or a reaction from our inner core that tells us something to be right or wrong. Now, this is according to our experiences and sometimes people's vibes, per se. Now, let me tell you something a little bit more about this. When we have gut experiences, or gut feelings, we act upon them, and whatever reaction, whatever consequence occurs after that, we feel a little proud of ourselves because we feel that we did the right thing. But what happens when you have a gut feeling that gives you distortion? It gives you bad feelings towards a person or towards a location. And it could be that you have these feelings because of a past experience. Maybe this person was an ex, or this person was an abusive kind of individual that you learn about, and now you have this just gut twisting feeling about this person. And it is important to know that at the end of the day, that is a body feeling. The gut feeling eventually comes from the body learning that behavior, and it uses that trigger for us to learn how to survive. But when it comes to the realm of being objective, being rational, being logical, and aim towards a happier life, we obviously have to switch our brain to seeking happiness rather than seeking survival. So the gut feeling may not be always working towards happiness. It might just help us survive or get away from a dangerous situation. So my idea and my approach to this is the following. If you're having a gut feeling, especially a negative gut feeling, I don't want you to think, and I don't want you to associate that with that individual or that event or that object to be an enemy. Because remember, when we are trying to become happy, when we are trying to become at peace with ourselves, it's very difficult for us to have a list of enemies and a list of friends. Of course, we don't want everybody to just be best friends, but we do have a form of like boundaries and self-respect. But the moment you have a twisted feeling, when you meet a person that you've had a bad relationship and outcome, I don't want you to obey your body. What I want you to do instead is I want you to allow the body to go through the feeling, let it go through the twisting to that uncomfortable sensation, understand logically why that is, rationalize it, and then act according to the moment. If you are in front of that person and that person isn't doing anything, there's no reason for you to get out of the room. There's no reason for you to be out of sight, because you're just running away from the problem in a way. Instead, you just need to be grounded, you need to be rational, and you need to just set boundaries. If you're not ready to talk to that person, fine, you don't have to. But that other person may not be doing anything to you. So having that reaction survival feeling may work if that individual can actually harm you and may like come at you later. But if that's not the situation, which is mostly the case, you can simply stay grounded, you can stay rational, and you can stay objective. That's how we become objective with our feelings, our thoughts, and even our strong gut feelings from our body. After all, we are not our minds, we are not what people tell us about us, we are not our thoughts, and we are not our bodies. Maybe we identify with them, but we are far beyond that. And I invite you to look into it. What are you? Who are you? See what you can come up with. And you'll notice that you're much more than just those gut feelings, than those emotional heart sensations, than those thoughts that you've created, than the people talk about you. You're much more than that. So that's what I wanted to do. Talk about that a little bit. I hope this helps you reflect. And again, please try to apply this and just try it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, at least you tried. Till next time.